Welcome everyone, I'm Innit the Hero, and today we'll be talking about Zun's Nammaku or bullet hell shoot 'em up TouHou Fuumaroku, Story of Eastern Wonderland. Now you might be asking, yo Eddie, why are you starting with the second game? Well, first off, I don't think a lot of people will go back to the real OG games from before the Windows era unless they already have vested interest in the series. I didn't when I played it, for the record. And secondly, I'm gonna be frank with y'all, Raiden, or the highly responsive to prayers, is just not the TouHou we think of today. A lot is there already, but how am I supposed to make a video longer than a minute about a Breakout clone? Regardless, Fuumaroku was developed by Zun, a one-man dev, and released in August of 1997 alongside the first game at Comic at 52 for the NEC PC-98. The PC-98 being a Japanese IBM-compatible computer solution running DOS, kinda like how the ZX Spectrum or the Amstrad CPC were for the Commodore 64, only less integrated into the keyboard. Anyway, back to the game, you play as Hakurei Reimu, an aloof shrine maiden, exorcising the ghosts and yokai that had overrun Hakuren's shrine while she was absent training. How does she do this? Through shooting, dodging, and looting. TouHou is well known for two things, being one of the pillars of early Japanese internet culture and being hard. So how hard is it? Well, that really depends on you. The game does have a difficulty setting where you can choose between easy, normal, hard and lunatic, but by and large, normal is manageable with only some sequences, most notably during bosses' spell cards, being any semblance of overwhelming in their patterns. I can't comment on how the game is on hard since, being the person of absolutes that I am, I usually play the game on easy or lunatic. But easy, as you'd expect, tunes down the game's mental stack and slows down projectiles, so when you die it really is your fault most of the time. Lunatic, as the name suggests, isn't for the faint of heart, but all the same, it makes the game feel exhilarating and special. This is early enough in the series that on Lunatic, killing trash mobs still sends out a couple of shots aimed right at your current location, making the game absolutely bullshit at times. But you can get used to this with time. The game also rewards your lack of sanity by giving you an extra life at 100,000 score, and giving you free bombs when you can clear long stretches without being hit. Bombs, as is usual in shmups, are screen nukes with the added benefit of invincibility for the explosion's duration. Unlike in later games, Fuumaroku's bombs do not vacuum in enemies' drop pickups, so their usage in farming power is minuscule. But since we're at power, how does it work? Power is the meter on the side of the screen you fill by picking up the P icons dropped by the enemies upon their demise. Instead of getting specific weapon upgrades like in other shmups, Fuumaroku gives you stronger and stronger versions of your basic attack, and additional attacks based on what you chose before starting the run. Reimu has three playstyles in this game, those being a movement-focused style, a defensive style that is a jack of all trades and bestows you with the power of the yin yang orbs shooting pine trees at your enemies, and an aggressive style that is more concerned with single target damage. TouHou Fuumaroku features talking segments building the characters, as well as various endings, but as per Sun's request, I won't show the latter, you'll just have to trust me that they exist. As for the presentation, the way TouHou carries itself I would call unusual but not bad. The idea of making the game in a tate style, the vertically oriented display style favored by vertically scrolling shmups, and then utilizing the rest of the regular 4x3 screen's real estate to house the game's HUD is not a choice I see often in games from '97, but would later get wider adoption when applicable as older tate arcade games got and gets ported to newer hardware. The game's graphics are pretty good for the time and hardware in my opinion. The early illustrations of characters are certainly that, but they're not bad either, just the only part that consistently reminds me that I'm playing an indie game made by one guy. As for the music, while with modern ears the PC-98's FM synthesis can get a bit overwhelming, this is also the only game in the PC-98 era that allows me to use the MIDI soundtrack, though whether that's because of hardware incompatibility or because the later games don't support MIDI is above my pay grade. While both soundtracks are largely the same, their nature means they feel different, as instrumentalization matters a lot in these sort of things. One very neat thing I found though is that the sound test isn't just a mere sound test, but also serves as composer notes from Zun, where he makes comments on how he feels about and what he intended to do with certain songs. And overall, really, TouHou Fuumaroku holds up even today. Sure, there's some bits that show their age, but even those parts are not detrimental, but add to the game's charm in my opinion. The gameplay is still as engaging as it would have been closer to release. The story, while not the most focal thing to the game, is still a fun romp with entertaining characters, and just in general, the game carries an air of innovation and quality that makes it hard to believe it is a single dev indie game. It's still a fun time, granted you don't mind getting hard stuck one level at a time on Lunatic as you build up the skills necessary to defeat them, or just simply play on a lower difficulty. Alright, now watch me dodge this slack-ass spell card.